All right, cool. So you have about 2 minutes on that do now. The problem is, how would we transform the red shape into the blue shape? So remember, we have 4 types of transformations, right? Rotations, reflections, dilations, and shifting. So your first step is to identify which transformation you use. And for your above and beyond, try to figure out what numbers you would use for that transformation. Thanks for the private messages, everyone. All right, you have about 50 seconds, so keep at it. I see Kayla has her answer in. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. 25 seconds. Ten seconds left. All right. Sweet. Okay, let's hear from Damaja this fine morning. What is your answer for us?
I said we could transform the red shape into the blue shape by using translation.
Exactly. Yep. And how exactly would you translate it? What do you think?
Um, First, we gotta move it from the top of the graph to the bottom, and then um, move it like a couple of spaces to the left, like 5 or 6 to the left.
Yeah, exactly. Very nice. Let's hear it from Kanaya. What did you say?
I think I did mine wrong because first I was supposed to do from red to blue, but I did from blue to red. But then, like when I went up, I think I miscounted two. So I think it should be to the left 5 and then down 5.
Gotcha. No worries. All right. Looking through a couple more answers here. All right. Yeah. It looks like for those of you who were able to answer, you did have the right idea. So if everyone could look at the Zoom window on my shared screen, I'm going to quickly talk about what exactly we mean. So as a lot of folks identified, right, we want to shift our lines to get the other one. I'm actually going to start from the blue one, but it's going to be the same thing. So from the blue, right, if I shifted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to the right, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 up, then I would actually get the same exact shape. So for those of you who got different numbers, right, remember to line up those little diagonal lines, right? So 8 and 8. So that's one way. Another way is I could actually rotate my line like this. So, right, it lines up just like so. And I would actually have the same shape like that. Now, in other periods, some folks said reflections, but remember that reflections, if you were to reflect, say, over this green line, right, you would have a mirrored version of your blue line, which wouldn't be quite right, right? It would look like this because it's the same thing, but mirrored. But notice when you mirror it, it's no longer pointing the same direction, right? It's just like when you walk in front of a mirror and the words on your t-shirt are backwards, right? So we don't want to reflect it. It's not going to give us the same thing. We want to make sure we use shifting or rotations, but mainly shifting. Okay, cool. So let's switch back to our Nearpod. Everyone could switch to their Nearpod windows. All right, and we are going to quickly practice once again supplemental angles. So, so on this diagram, you want to identify which pairs of angles are supplemental angles. So, for example, A and B, they form a straight line. That's a supplemental angle pair. So figure out which pairs are supplemental angles and see what you get. Have about a minute left. All right, 30 seconds left. I see some folks have submitted already. Appreciate it. Fifteen seconds left. All right. Let's see. I want to hear from Jamal. Jamal, could you come off mute and share what your answer would be?
I was rushing and stuff. No, answer. You said supplemental angle, right? My answer would be angel. That's what my answer would be.
Okay, that was very loud, but thank you for sharing. Appreciate it. So what I heard was you got like a number. Is that right? Give me a thumbs up. I wasn't really, okay. Sorry, I couldn't really hear what you were saying. You had a lot of noise going on, My bad. But I appreciate you sharing. Thank you. So let's hear from another person. Let's go with Aaliyah. Could you share what your answer was?
I got all of those because I looked at the middle line and I kept looking at the straight and looking at the two letters that equal up to 180 degrees.
Gotcha. Yeah, exactly. So notice all of these pairs, when you add up their angles, they give you that straight line, exactly as Aaliyah said. So real quick on, if everyone could switch to my Zoom screen real quick, I just want to quickly demonstrate what we're talking about here. So for those of you who need a quick refresher, right, supplemental angles add up to that straight line. So if I identify a straight line, let's say this blue line, I want every angle that can add up to that. So if I get A, it's here. I add B, right? Now I got a full half circle. Now I got a full straight line. Same on the other side, right? D, add C, right? Straight line. On this side, right? A, D, C, B. So that's all nice and well, but sometimes we'll have some trickier problems. For example, on our exit ticket from a couple days ago, when we had something like this, right? The same thing still applies. So your supplemental angle, your supplemental angles are still going to be everything that adds up to the line. So A plus this small thing plus this small thing. So it's not enough to just have these two, right? That's not a full straight line. You want to get it to all the way down here. Same with just A plus this, right? It's not a full half circle. You got to have this missing part here. Okay? All right. So everyone, please switch back to your Nearpod. Thank you. And we will practice now our opposite angles. So opposite angles were covered yesterday. If you did not do yesterday's exit ticket, please make sure you do it. And always keep in mind, the exit tickets come before the classes, so make sure you do. All right, so opposite angles, like the name implies, they are opposite of each other. So find the pairs of angles. Have about a minute left. All right. Jamal, is your Nearpod working? Thumbs up. Okay. Sweet. I see a lot of folks have submitted their answer. You have 30 seconds left. All right. 10 seconds left. Get your answers in. Okay. Sweet. Let's hear from, we hear from Nyasia. Could you share what are the two opposite pairs you found?
The two opposite pairs I found was A, C, and B and D.
Okay. And how did you know those were the pairs?
You said, how did I know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because they are right across from each other and they got the same degrees, even though all of them have the same degrees.
Yeah, exactly. Very nice. So just as Nyasia said, right? The two things you want to look for are they are opposite of each other, they're across from each other, and they're the same degrees. So one thing you said, like even though the pairs are the same degrees, we don't know for sure that all the angles are the same. So be careful. Especially, right, because if they were all the same, they'd have to all be 90. So they'd have to all be those like square angles. So just be careful. You don't want to assume anything, but you are right. A and C are the same angle. D and B are the same angle. So if everyone could please switch back to the Zoom window again. I know it's a lot of switching back and forth, and I apologize, but that's how it be when you're in the recording session. Okay, so on my Zoom window, you should see the following. So on the diagram, right, the key skill here is to identify which lines are forming your angles. So for example, A is formed by the blue line and the red line right here. C is also formed by the blue line and red line right here. So because they are formed by the same lines, they're the same angle, they're opposites, okay? Now take a look at this side. So D is blue and red, but this small angle right here, even though it's on the opposite side, they are not opposite angles. And the reason why is because they're formed by different lines, right? This small angle is formed by the red and black line, so they're different, right? Now, if it was the full thing, like from red to blue, then they would be opposites, right? And that was what the B was. So I'm just quickly showing that, they have to be the same lines, right? So in your notes, if you are taking notes, write down the following. So opposite angles are 1, opposite from each other. 2, they're the same angle, right? They're the same degrees. And 3, they are made from the same lines. So A and C are both made from red and blue. They're the same lines. All right. So now we are going to get into this problem. All right. So this kind of problem is called a parallel line or transversal line problem. So let's see, could I have Takila, could you define what parallel lines for us are real quick?
Parallel lines are lines that are like slanted and they both equal to each other.
Okay. What do you mean by equal to each other?
Like they're the same. I don't know how to explain it, but they equal. Like they always go be equal.
Yeah, okay. It's a good start. I like it. Let's hear from AJ. How would you define parallel lines? Can you expand on what Takila gave us?
I would say that they're lines that are always beside each other and they never will cross.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, Takila, you want to add something?
They don't meet.
They don't meet. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yep. There we go. So thank you to both of you who shared. So parallel lines, right? They're two lines that they're pointing the same way. So Takila is making this motion with their hands. So yeah, they're pointing the same way. And they never cross, right? That's the key. They never cross each other. Even if they go all the way out to infinity, they never cross. Okay. So in this diagram, our parallel lines are these black lines, right? Now we have this blue line here. That is called our transversal line. So in the English language, right, to transverse means to travel or to go across something. So in math, a transversal line is this line that crosses through your parallel lines, okay? So we are going to be focusing a lot on these sort of problems because they show up a lot. Like ACT, SAT, all that stuff. This shows up all the time. It'll look like this. It'll look like this. Whatever it is, it's going to be this kind of problem. All right, so let's focus on this for a sec. Let me add this part here. Okay. So let's focus on just this part for a sec. Okay, we're gonna ignore the top. So let's say angle 6 is 65 degrees. I'll just write 65. All right. So angle 6 is 65 degrees. I'm gonna rapid fire through some folks. So Sanaya, what is angle 7 gonna be? Oh, you there? Uh-oh, think you might be cutting out. So, oh, wait, there you are. Sanaya, could you answer what angle 7 is going to be? How many degrees? You're on mute. All right. I think you might be having some internet issues, so no worries, no worries. Let's hear from Evelyn. What would angle 7 be?
115.
115? How'd you get that?
Because there's supplementary angles, so 180 subtract 65 is 115.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Great work. So she said supplemental angles. Boom. We just need to find the missing one. So 180 minus 65 is 115. Exactly. Cool. So I'm going to write that here, 115. All right, let's hear from Omaha. What is angle 8 going to be?
65 degrees.
And how did you know?
Because it is on the opposite of angle 6.
Exactly. Yep. So here, right, and here, opposite angles. So they should be the same. One other way you can find that is, right, if this is supplemental, then, and this is 115, then 8 should be 180 minus 115, which is 65. Exactly. Cool. All right. And let's hear from Kayla. What is angle 5 going to be?
Angle 5 gonna be 115.
Sweet, sweet. And right, again, opposite angles, supplemental angles, whatever you want to use. But yeah, 115. All right. So that's the simpler part. Now to the more complicated part. So now we want to figure out what 1, 2, 3, and 4 are. So remember from our do now, what did we say we do to make those two crosses meet? To make the two things the same? What did we say? Nicole, could you answer? What did we use in our do now?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. What did we use in our do now to make those two shapes look the same?
I don't remember.
Okay. Let's hear from Jalea.
I don't remember.
All right, we got some bad memory this morning. Let's hear from Kanaya, because I know you remember. What did we say?
I think we translated it.
There we go. We shifted the cross, right? We translated it to the right and up. Y'all remember that now? So we shift this cross up and down, okay? And notice when we do that, we get the same exact shape, meaning we get the same exact angles, okay? So on that note, Damaja, what would angle 2 be?
Would it be 65?
Yep, and how did you know?
Because we shifted 5, 8, 6, and 7 up. So 2 would be the same as 6.
Yeah, there we go. Yep, so 2 would be the same as 6, exactly. That's what you want to explain when you solve this sort of problem, right? 2 is the same angle as 6 when we translate it, exactly. All right, let's hear from AJ. What would angle 1 be?
$115
All right, and how'd you know?
because angle 7 is 115 and angle 1 would just be angle 3 and then just
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, you were almost all the way there. You just want to say, right? So angle 1 is the same as angle 3, and angle 3 is the same as angle 7. That's what you want to make sure you get that last part there. But yeah, so because angle 7 is 115, angle 3 is 115, so angle 1 is 115, exactly. So that's all you really got to do. So let's go to our Nearpod one more time, and we're going to work on our final problem for today. All right. So your problem will look very similar to the do now. So I give you an angle 50 or 50 degrees up at the top, and there's a question mark at the bottom. So what is the degrees of that question mark angle? So use what you know about transversal angles, parallel lines, supplementals, and figure out how you can get it. Ooh, y'all are quick with it. See Kayla's very quick answer. Very nice. And I'm going to call on some folks. So remember to think about how you would explain that answer, right? How you get from that 50 down to that question mark. All right, sweet. Yep, I'm seeing some good answers here. Yep. Yep, I see Jamal's drawn that line through there. Yep. Jamal, make sure you figure out what number the question mark should be. All right. So Sanaya, make sure you're double checking your work here. That question mark is much wider than the 50, right? So think about that. Think about why, and think about what number you should get.
What's good, Mr. Hall?
Oh, who was that? Who was that? I didn't see it. Oh,
Yo.
what's up? Hey, you Mel. How you doing?
Good, good. For sure.
Sweet, sweet. All right. Have about 2 minutes. We'll probably end a little bit early to give everyone a nice lunch break. So let's just say 1 more minute. Yeah, I see some folks writing their explanations. Love to see it. All right, 30 seconds left. Okay. All right. If everyone could press the submit button, we will go ahead and just start sharing some answers. That way we can get out of here as soon as possible. So press that submit button. Yep, there we go. All right. And I would like to hear from, first I want to hear from Nicole. So I saw you had something drawn. So let's see, how would you explain your answer?
I said that it's a straight line. So I just subtracted 180 from 50 and got 130.
Okay. And then, so when you do that, which angle, like, did you find like an angle that's the same as the question mark, or like, what did you do? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, because the 50 and the question mark are at different spots. So they're not necessarily forming a straight line. So what do you think?
I think it's like a number under 130.
Okay. I'll let you think on it. So we'll go to a different person. Let's hear from Tequila.
Okay, so I think you had to shift it up and to the side, and then since they were on opposite sides, the 50 would be on the top, and then since it's opposite, the 130 should be on the bottom.
Yeah, there you go. So that's sort of the explanation we're looking for, right? We want to shift it. We want to look at those angles, right? Now you said opposite angles, but what you mean is supplemental, right? Supplemental. Opposite is when they're the same, just across from each other. Yeah. But yeah, very nice, very nice. Let's hear from Damaja. How would you explain it?
I said the missing angle is 130 because 130 plus 50 equals 180.
Sweet. All right. Hear from Omaha.
So basically what I did was I just moved them because 180s.
No worries. Got something going on. No worries. Okay. So let me quickly demonstrate what I mean when I say explain. So everyone, if you could switch to the Zoom window one more time, and I'm going to quickly explain what we're talking about here. So, so I said, this is 50 up here. And I said, I want to figure out what angle 7 is, this bottom one. So if I say, well, it's 180 minus 50 is 130, right? That is correct. And you all got that. Great work, right? But remember, when I say that, what I mean is like I'm getting a supplemental angle, right? They have to be right next to each other to make that straight line. So what I found is that, angle 3 is 130. Then you got to say, well, when I shift it down to that bottom part, right, the angle 3 and angle 7 are the same. So that's how I know this question mark is also 130, right? Another way you could do it, you could say, well, these are supplemental angles. And if this is 50, then 1 is 130. And that means 5 is 130 when we shift it. And since 5 and 7 are opposites, 7 should also be 130. So the real key skill here that you want to practice and that a lot of you were able to model was explaining those steps, right? It's kind of like a puzzle. You want to get from the first step and build up to your final piece of the puzzle, right? All right, so that will be it for today. Quick reminder. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you have your 2 exit tickets from the past couple of lessons. They're in Google Classroom. They were also emailed to you yesterday. So make sure you've done those. If you haven't done your Unit 1 test, make sure you're doing that because grades are coming out on Wednesday in Power School. So if you haven't checked your Unit 1 grades, they should be in your email. Make sure you found that and are working on those. If you have any questions, text or email, always available. And yeah, other than that, have a great lunch. I will see you on Thursday.